All right, so now we're doing reflections over the x-axis or over the y-axis. So let's first show you what over the x-axis would look like. Not sure why I'm writing stuff like that. Anyway, over the y-axis. So I've got a function graphed here. It's in purple. You can see it right there. That's the function. It's a parabola. It's shifted to the right by 2, and it's that, not the green one there. Let's hide some of these other ones I've got turned on. There we go. It's that purple one. Okay. Now I'm going to graph the green one here, and green one is just j of x, but I'm going to play with it. Now I want to flip it over the y-axis. So the y-axis is, let me put him in there so you can see him. Okay, I'm going to add a new function, and I'm going to put it's actually not a function, it's a y-axis, which is not a function, x equals 0. There he is in dark. That vertical axis, that's my y-axis there. Watch how I flip my green function there over him. All I do is put a negative in front of the x, and it just flipped over the y-axis. And that's all we're trying to do. When they say flip over the y-axis, we put a negative x in place of an x. That's it. So I can even write that right here. I already know how to do this problem. I want to reflect over the y-axis. Oops. So I go g of x is f of negative x. That's my notation that tells me how to write my new function. Okay. In fact, let's go ahead and do them. I'll just run over here. F of, now I want negative x in there. I don't want a positive x. So here I go. I'm just copying my function. But when I get to the x, I'm going to replace him with negative x. Notice I get double negatives there. Not a big deal. We know how to deal with two negatives, make a positive. And there is the reflection of f of x over the y-axis. We're done with him. Okay, now let's do over the x-axis. Let's see, so if inside makes him go left to right, outside should make him go up to down. So let's put a negative out in front now. There's the negative. Oh, look at that. He just flipped completely over there. Okay, and that's what the negative on the outside does. Okay? Hey, watch this. This is cool. I can do them both at the same time. Now I've flipped him upside down and flipped him over. Negatives in both spots. That's always doable. Okay, every time we add a little feature to our equation, it does something to our graph. So that's the idea behind this. So now let's write this one. And when I went outside of it, so g of x equals negative, it flips over the x-axis. It goes up and down. That's what I have graphed right there. And so here's my new function. G of x is the opposite of f of x, which is the opposite of, well, what's my f of x in this case? Well, it's this expression right here, 2/3 x minus 4. So there's my answer. I just want to distribute that negative so it's simpler. And there is the reflection over the x-axis. Our last two are flips over the y-axis, so they're both the same notation, right? This is 7 g of x. I'm flipping over the y-axis, so that means I go inside with the negative. And number 8, I'm flipping over the y-axis. Notice I don't change my notation at all, because that's the feature that makes it flip. Okay, and now I just have to use the particulars of my problem. What function are you flipping? Well, I'm taking a negative 5 plus the absolute value of, here comes that replacement with a negative x, and minus 8, and I'm done. I can't do anything in here because they aren't like terms. I got an x term and an 8. You can't combine those two together. And so you're just really finished there. Now, I could maybe write it more in a standard form, which would be put the absolute value part first, and then put the minus 5 afterwards. So I can kind of now see it from, hey, this is an absolute value parent function. It's been dropped down by 5. It's been shifted to the right by 8. And it's flipped left to right over the y-axis. So there's my 7. Now just slide over here a little bit and do my 8. I don't have to write down really anything new on my 8, except now I have to substitute into the function. Well, what function is the 8 using? It's using this one. So I start writing my function. When I get to my x, I replace it with a negative x. Now it's a multiplication there. It's 4 times x, so it's 4 times negative x. And it says minus 1 and then plus 2 on the outside. Well, I can actually multiply this. It's like 4 times a negative 1. So it's negative 4 and times an x, then my minus 1 and my plus 2. And there is that answer. All I have to do if I want to flip it left to right is put in a negative x.